Hey, Dusty.
Hi.
Hi. I just was reading something really interesting. I think you should have a heads up about this. I was reading Article 3 of our bylaws that are still in effect. And it says that the board of directors shall consist of the mayor and 12 members.
So 13 altogether.
So I thought that was good news.
That open up another spot. Let's count real quick.
Well, I was sitting here doing exactly that when you popped in there. So I was counting. I noticed on today's,
I still have Chip on there.
and you put Michael Neal as a board member, and he's not a board member, he's an advisory member.
Right, I screwed up.
So that's wrong. And then I was wondering, have you talked to that other gentleman that we've talked about a couple of times? Tim?
No, I did not yet.
And what about Meredith? Have you made an official decision on that, or what are you going to do?
Talked to her yesterday, and I think by the bylaws, and I was going to have a discussion about it a little bit today, is that
maybe change that in the new bylaws?
Or it allows for 5 people that are not in the downtown, and if we count Brad Maggart as a resident instead of a business owner, because he is, it meets the need of the resident, the downtown resident. So that leaves her, that we could just leave her on just because it doesn't conflict with the bylaws.
Exactly. In that case, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is good news because that means we might have a whole seat open.
I screwed this whole thing up. I should have looked it over.
Maybe next month I'll check it for you before you post it.
Yeah.
That helpful person that I am.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. That's 12 with Emily, right?
We have a seat.
We have an open seat, don't we?
Yes.
Well, you'll bring that up in your section.
I will bring that up. Okay. That was my news for today.
That's a good one.
I know, I got excited. Pays to read the bylaws. What, Don?
And Don?
Morning, Dusty.
How are you?
I'm great. I'm sorry you have to put up with Diane this early in the morning, though.
She's feisty today.
How'd girl? I'm going to go mute.
Okay.
Morning, David.
Good morning, everyone.
Hi, Michael.
Good morning, Michael.
Morning, everyone.
Morning. Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Just going to give it a minute or two. People keep coming into the room. There's Mark. We got 15 so far. Good morning, Mr. Murray. Meredith, can you see everybody for roll call?
I can. So it looks like I'm still looking for Roberts, Ryder. Is Brad here? I don't see Brad. Emily.
There's Greg.
Okay.
There's Emily.
Okay.
There's the telegram, Spencer. I'm just going to give it a minute here. Spencer and his cat. I saw him last night at the commission meeting. Just want to see if Brad shows up because of financial report. Not that there's a lot of change. All right, let's get started. All right, welcome to the Downtown Development Authority of the City of Adrian for our September 9th, 2020 meeting. Welcome all of you, and Meredith, you've done roll call, I take it?
Yep.
Excellent. All right.
Oh, hang on, Dusty. I'm sorry. I don't see Jerry. I don't see Tim. I don't see Brad. Is that correct?
That's what I have too.
Okay. If they show up, I'll make a note.
Oh, there's Jerry.
Okay.
All right, I'll just keep admitting them once this happens. All right, we have roll call. Okay, also on the agenda, we presented it today. There will be some additions in public comment where Michelle will talk about the public website. We'll bring that up as it comes to us. However, I'll just look for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
That was Diane.
Second.
That was David Thomas. There's Mike Neal coming in.
Okay.
Excellent. And all those in favor of the agenda as presented indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. All right, the agenda is approved. In front of you also have the DDA minutes. Actually, you saw that in the email. There's minutes. There's two different minutes we need to vote on. There's the DDA minutes from our August 12th meeting and the DDA minutes from the annual meeting that we had right after that. So I will entertain a motion to accept the regular meeting, August 12th. Minutes of this meeting. There's been a motion by Margaret Noe. Is there support?
Support.
There's support by Mark Murray. Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the minutes as presented indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. I'll do the same for the annual meeting. Can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Gosh, let's get a name there. Was that Jerry that made the motion?
Yeah, I think it's Noe and Ryder. Is that
Oh,
correct?
no, I got it. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. Before I get started, as you know, in our last meeting, we discussed having a appointed board member to represent Adrian College. Mike Neal is with us today, and I wanted to welcome Mike and welcome to the DDA. We appreciate you representing Adrian College, much like Mike Orlando is with us while you're seated at the table with us. It is a non-voting member, but we certainly want your input and your efforts, and we really appreciate you being here, Michael. So welcome.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to contributing. Thanks.
Excellent, excellent. All right, with that, let's move to the organizational committee. Diane, we have a couple things we need to talk about.
Okay, the first item on my list is the organizational committee hosted 2 Zoom interviews last week, Matt Schwartzlander and Drake Lally. They were incredible applicants, and after the interviews, we chose Drake Lally, who's the owner-operator of Advantage Visuals and located at the Armory, as our candidate. We want Matt to know that we want him to participate on our board as an advisor representative from the Adrian Chamber of Commerce. And if we need to, we can do that through our bylaws, depending on what we want to do. Drake was going to be on the Zoom meeting this morning. I don't know if he did or if he's there. I didn't hear his name. But anyways, taken up the opportunity to welcome Drake to our board. He's going to be a great candidate.
Diane, can you spell Drake's last name for me?
Lolley.
And Matt's last name?
Ooh.
There you go.
Schwartzlander.
Oh, I see him right there. Okay, I got that one.
Got it? Okay.
Yep.
Test this morning. So in a matter of procedure, Diane, the organizational committee meets, does the interviews, and then makes a recommendation to this board. This board then discusses that and agrees or disagrees with the recommendation of the committee. At which point we should make a formal vote over to have Drake approved. But really at the end of the day, it is the mayor's responsibility to appoint individuals to the DDA board. So what we're really doing is giving our recommendation from the DDA standpoint, gives her the chance to review that and then make a formal recommendation to the city commission, in which their next regular meeting, they will vote to appoint. Does that
They
make sense?
didn't do it last night, Dusty. I was really unclear on that because Drake already had been notified by the mayor.
All right. Well, I didn't know if they did get it on the agenda. Angie, did they have it last night?
No, we need to wait until the DDA actually, as
Approved.
a whole board approves that. I just told him that he was being the one that was recommended for the DDA to vote on today. That is what he knew. And it will be, once we've made the decision today, that will be at the September 21st City Commission meeting where that will be on the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Mark Murray has made a motion to approve. Does he have support?
Support.
There's support. Is that Margaret?
Yes, it is.
That's Margaret.
Excellent.
So this motion is to recommend to the city that the mayor appoint Drake Lally for a seat on the DDA board. Does it include Matt's seat as an advisor?
That's what I was going to ask. Do we need to make a motion for that as well? As
We
a
haven't even,
separate-
I really haven't had a chance to talk to Matt about that. So we're doing it live here. But
So
when we get into the bylaws, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
perhaps it could incorporate that if you find it appropriate and necessary as you proceed, Dusty.
I mean, we could put in the same motion that we make this recommendation, couldn't we?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, that's what I think I'm going to write it, that we recommend the mayor to the city, that the mayor appoint Drake for the seat and Matt as an advisor, okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
Are you
Matt,
okay with that, Dusty?
Yeah, well, let's not put Matt on the spot, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. Matt, I know you.
Surprise.
Matt, what we thought of at the organization committee is it was very, very important for the Adrian Chamber to partner with the DDA. We weren't really sure that having a seat at the table would be the best because of some conflicts that may take place. We know that the Adrian Chamber has to be strong. There comes Brad right in time. And needs to really be able to be out there and fundraising for itself as well, and really making it a strong organization. And we want to help and participate as the DDA as well. But we have advisory positions coming from the colleges. They're really not a vote, but we really want them at the table on a consistent basis so that we can really have a partnership. So that was the suggestion from the organizational committee. Matt, do you have any problem with that?
No, not at all. I think that's a great move. I think Drake is going to be an outstanding addition to DDA, and I look forward to being involved in any way I can.
Superb. With that, the motion then is that we appoint, or we recommend the appointment of Drake Lawley, and then have Matt as an advisory seat at the DDA on a consistent basis. And that motion was made by,
Murray, seconded by Noe.
seconded by Noe. Any further discussion?
No, it just seems logical that the process will soon catch up with the plan.
Gotcha.
Or Diane, whichever way it goes.
All right, there's been a motion accepted and discussion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. All right, we'll talk to Drake and we'll let him know that the city commission is when he actually becomes appointed to the DDA and should be at our next meeting. And Matt, we'd love to have you at all of our meetings. So, thank you.
Moving on to the
Put on
bylaw.
to the bylaws.
Okay. I was hoping that you were going to send out that in the packet, Dusty, for today, but
See
since
if I can
that,
find.
maybe you can get that done afterwards so people can take a look at it for themselves. But Margaret and I have a meeting for next week where we're going to go ahead and adjust the bylaws for your make recommendations to you. Because these are from 2017. That seems to be the closest copy that we could get. And then some of the things that, looking through it, that we need to take care of is an addition of absenteeism as a problem and how to fix it. And then also we discovered by accident that we actually may have another seat available to us. And because the Article 3 says that the mayor is not actually counted in the count of membership. So that gives us an extra seat that we can start working on and have the city post another opening, I'm assuming. So we're going to bring this to you, our recommendations, then to the next meeting. And then after you've had an opportunity to look at it, then the following meeting, according to the bylaws, that's how we have to do it, I guess. And then you can, we'll vote on it to make any changes that we see necessary.
We have a review meeting and then another at the next meeting we approve. That's how a lot of
We-
school boards work.
Yeah, we have to be able to present it to you for your consideration. And then at the next meeting, we can vote on it.
Right, so there were a couple things we want to address. So absenteeism would be, you know, when the city commission and somebody misses the commission, I think we should take the same sort of structure, if you will, process. And that is, if somebody's missing, they should give an excuse to one of the other members or maybe to the mayor or myself as that they're going to be missing. And then we, as a courtesy, make a motion to accept their excused absence, if you will. And then we vote on that, and then it really doesn't count against them. But if they have no notification and do not show up to the meeting, and that happens maybe 3 times, then it would be a consideration for removal from the DDA. And so it's a little strict, but not so strict if you just call and say, I'm not going to be able to make it, I have a conflict. So anything concerned with that?
No, it's really a rather adult process. It really asks of you to just recognize your commitment. And if you are missing and you're not able to make, it just allows you an opportunity to say, this is not for me right now. You know, it's not a penalty. It's a
Right.
process for you to determine whether or not this is your time. It's not like we're ousting people.
Right.
Mr. Chair, question. Can we consider the possibility of either 2 or 3 consecutives that the committee person has automatically tendered their resignation, such that the committee doesn't have to deal with you know, whether or not a person wants to be on or whether we should, you know, ask them to remove it. So I think if the process is automatic, then if there was some mistake, then they can use their own energy to get back on the board, as opposed to us using our limited energy to take time to remove them. I'm just asking we think about that.
It's an interesting thought, Mark. Let's look at that as we look at the bylaws. As Diane look at that paragraph, let us take that into consideration.
Would that be, sorry, Margaret, would that be 2 to 3 unexcused or any 2 to 3 consecutive? Because I could make an argument either way, I think.
Right.
Unexcused. Unexcused.
And if you say, whoa, wait, I told Dusty I wasn't going to be here, or I emailed Dusty, and Dusty goes back and says, oh, gee whiz, he did. So it's really only 2. So, you know, we've ousted somebody who didn't need to be ousted, so we go back and fix it. I mean, I'm just thinking of one scenario. If you would just give us some time before we spend our energy now, let us go back and look at that. It's not a process to, you know, eradicate the board. It really is just a process to keep us moving forward with interested parties and continuity. So let us take a look at that and bring that up at a time when we're all looking at it in reality. All right.
Excellent. There's just a couple other items we noticed in 2017. I thought I'd have it I'm on my laptop, so I don't have, it's not right at my fingertips. But it still mentioned that the presidents of the 2 colleges would be sitting at the board. So we never made an action at 2017 to really present the bylaws and then accept them. So that'll be the other one where we have the appointed delegate from the 2 colleges on there, and maybe the appointed delegate from the Adrian Chamber as well. And those bylaws would be a good addition to address. And then, of course, it is clear to me when Diane read it to me just at 7:45 that it's the mayor and 12 members of the DDA, and we have 11. So she's the 12th, but should be 13 altogether. Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So if those all be addressed in the bylaws, that'd be great.
I'm done.
Any other discussion? Yeah. All right. Diane, thank you.
You're welcome.
Like where I'm at. Everybody can still see the agenda, correct? Excellent. All right, Brad, you have a finance report? I know there's a lot of activity. Still there, Brad?
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there he is.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't get the new Excel sheets from the city there for this month. So I don't think that the only thing that I really would need to bring up with you guys is that we did do and maybe Harry can comment on this too, but or Dusty. We did do a disbursement for the logo development. Is that correct? And
yes.
And there was also a small amount there for something else. I can't remember exactly what it was, but and the other thing that I was going to bring up is I would like to bring this to the board is basically I'd like to pay for the initial case or however many we decide on of these cups that are going to be going to each of the restaurants to kind of get them started, restaurants and bars. I think that would be a good way for us to kind of get them started and get the ball rolling on the DARA thing. I don't know how you guys feel about that or not, but other than that, I don't really have anything other than those 2 things to present regarding the finance committee report. And sorry I didn't get those Excel sheets from the city. So.
This Wednesday ended up being real early, the 9th, so it came early in the month, so I can understand that. I thought we had a point of action in previous meetings where we approved the purchase of those cups as well as the 350, 250, 300. David, you remember?
Yeah.
We may
so we did approve the purchase of the cups, and at that meeting we decided that we were going to sell the cups to the businesses at our cost.
That's what I remember too.
Yeah.
So if like I said, the cost of the cups was just a little over $4,000. I don't know if everybody can see them very well here,
no, we got
but they came out really, really, really great.
They look good.
You got a picture? Yeah, I sent you one earlier this morning.
There it is.
So
Those do look really nice.
There we go. Yeah, they're really fantastic. I was holding, I can wait to report this later, but like I said, for 20 cases of cups, which is 20,000 cups, it literally was just a little bit over $4,000. So if we would give the 11 businesses their first case of cups, I mean, it's, you know, to help get them, because they do have some small expenses to incur in regards to purchasing labels and stuff like that that they need to put on the cups. So I'm in favor. I mean, we already made the expense already. We already planned on spending the money, but we did agree to sell the cups back to the businesses. So a vote would have to be in order if we wanted to give the businesses their first case of cups to get them going.
So that's 11 cases, which would be a little over $2,000. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
I like it.
Right, well, I think that is point of action. So if we are going to give 11 cases away, which is just over half of the amount was spent, I'd entertain a motion to approve such expenditure.
So moved.
Support.
Support by Margaret.
Margaret.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any further discussion on this?
Mr. Chair, what if we gave each establishment one half of a case and or spend the first $1,000 with the assumption that if the establishments are actually going to use the program, they'll use them up and then give them another half. My concern is that some of these places may have 1,000 cups in their basement 5 years from now, and that wouldn't be a good investment for us. So is there a way to limit the initial giveaway until those establishments show that they're able to utilize the cups?
What do you think, David?
I guess in my opinion, Mr. Chair, is then I'm separating cases for people and it's just a little cumbersome. But right now I can report that 8 of the 11 businesses have already been approved, and we're just waiting on a little bit of paperwork from a couple others. And basically all they need to fill out is a COVID compliance form. And I've been working with those businesses to get that final paperwork complete. I'm just holding on dispersing anything right now until the city gets the signs up and the businesses actually have their permit posted at their establishment before we can really do anything. So I'm in favor of just giving them their cups. I think the businesses that are actively already accepted really want to get the ball rolling right away. We're just on a couple hiccups with a couple other businesses to finalize process. But as soon as the city gets the signage complete, I'm ready to, get the ball rolling right away. And I think, especially going into fall, it's going to be a slow process anyway. But once summer comes, they might be sitting on a full case up until next spring, but there's nothing wrong with that. We've already spent the money anyway. So I think it's just a great thing to give to our downtown businesses to show that we support them.
Dave, so do they have their permits ready to go? It's just literally waiting only on the city and the signage?
The businesses that have been approved, I'm not sure if they've received their permit via mail, but I mean, they have been approved online. I just want to make sure that we dot the I's and cross the T's on this. I don't want to start anything too early and get ourselves in trouble.
Have you been given a timeline on
but
those?
if you go to, I imagine once they get approved, they should be getting them in the mail within the week. I imagine some of the businesses do have them already. We're just really waiting on signage and stuff because from the city, and I'm not sure. I wasn't able to get a hold of Matt for an update, but I did get an email from him last week saying they were going to try to start hanging out some of the signs at the end of last week, beginning of this week. So, oh, okay. Michelle just posted something there.
Okay. That's why I was asking. I wanted to make sure on the city side. Okay.
But
Are you there?
so Michelle posted something. I didn't read it there.
I missed it too. Michelle?
She said the signs are, she believes the signs are done.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Mr.
Awesome.
Chair, if I could interject
Greg.
on that point. The delay is on Broad Street because it's a state road. The state has to approve the placement of the signs. We need to get a permit from the state to be able to, from MDOT to be able to post those signs. So that boundary is not posted.
That makes sense. I think I remember that now.
Greg, do you know how long it'll take for the state to approve you guys to put signs on Broad?
I do not know. Matt would know better.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm sure we'll diligently stay on that as it comes forward. And I'm glad to hear that the signs are created. So it's just a matter of approval now on Broad Street.
So we still have a motion on the table about giving away the first case of cups for free.
Absolutely. All right. So, splitting it up, I understand, Mark, what we're discussing there. I don't know from an administrative standpoint, I want to put that onto Dave.
Withdraw that.
Okay. All right. So there's been a motion to pay for the first case per business that is qualified and gets approved for the Darrow District. It's been motioned and accepted. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. Excellent. David, I want your help on this one too. I know that when we first started off, we also agreed to pay for the application fees for each business. And
Yes.
we made some executive decisions before we got to this meeting because it was actually $350 per person per business, was it not?
Yes.
So we do have to go back.
It was two. It was. I think it was 325, Mr. Chair.
325.
It was 250. Then this, yeah, and then the $75 inspection fee.
$75 inspection fee.
So it was 325.
So we
Yeah, it was
approved,
325 per
250 at the
establishment.
previous meeting. And of course, we went ahead and went forward with it. David did anyway, just to make sure, right? So I would need a motion from this board to approve that $75 extra per applicant.
I'll make a motion, Brad. Yeah.
Brad made a motion. We have support.
Second.
All right, support by Margaret, David, and all of them. All right, any further discussion on that?
I got a question. Are you saying that we're paying for a case of cups for each of them as like a gift, and we're paying for their
Yes.
license?
Yes.
So what
Yes.
would that approximately be the value of?
So 325, and if you took 11 cases and divided by 2,200, let's say.
I would be. I want to say probably. Hold on here. Let me do the
It's
math.
about
real quick.
$530,
It's about $100.
$540. Yeah.
Yeah.
Total.
So what expenses are the actual businesses that you referred to, David? You said they've got expenses, so we need to give them their cups, the first case of cups. But what are they paying for that we're not paying for?
They'll have to purchase stickers to put on their cups. And then, which is it's a nominal fee, probably $100, $200 themselves. So, I mean, I just look at it as a way to, I'm sorry?
Trash can too. They're gonna have to buy their own
Yeah,
trash
and then, and then we have to, work out uniform trash cans for them as well.
There's not a lot of consistency on that as far as what we're paying for and what they're paying for. Are we absolutely sure we want to do that? Because that's a lot. you're giving 11 businesses $500 worth of help, but there's an awful lot of other businesses downtown that could use the help too.
Understood.
I don't know.
This is a special circumstance, in my opinion, because of the social district that's being allotted to us from the state. Something we would have never thought of had it not brought itself around. And so when we look at the upstart of that and the condition that the restaurants are in and where they're at this point in the shutdown, I really felt it was a good thing for the DDA to do, to step up and handle this upfront cost of this new structure. I understand the retail has the same, many challenges as well, but this is very specific to the DARA. So I'm in favor myself of continuing with that expense.
Mr. Chair, I think Diane's point is well taken, that, that the DDA is not asking this group of merchants to spend anything. I just think that we want to be sure that we have a very good story about why this makes sense, and it doesn't make sense to support any other merchant of any type in the downtown like this. Now, I support this. My inclination would be that they ought to chip in $100 to show some level of commitment. But given that we're not going in that direction, and given that this would finish the program off, I would support paying for it.
I just think it's a little insulting, that those are the only people that we're assisting. We haven't done anything to help the retail. And I just, this is not going to, I know there was some discussion that this might help the retail downtown, but having people walk around at night when we're not even open carrying their cups doesn't do anything for our businesses. Our businesses close at 5, some occasionally 6. And so this really is not helping any of the retail. And we, I've asked numerous times for us to, by advertising, do something to help the retail. But they make a whole lot money off of their booze than we make off of what we sell in our shops. And I wasn't against this whole program, and I wouldn't vote against it, but I don't think it's fair. I think you're asking us to give them a whole lot of money, but you don't do anything to help the retail.
I wonder if it might be a useful thing, because the cups need to be uniform throughout, between now and forever until the DARA stops. We could actually turn this into a very small but a profit-making center for the DDA, where we don't, in fact, we gift them this first round. Next cups, we actually charge a bit for the time and energy that's eventually going to have to be going into not just setting this up, but also future cup orders and that kind of thing, just to help make that a little more balanced.
Yeah, we become the distributor essentially, right?
Yes.
I
mean
know
Dave,
that
I
nobody
guess.
else is on, on retail train here, but you got to understand how this looks to us. This is doing nothing for us, and it's costing the DDA quite a bit of money.
Any further discussion? All right, there's been a motion and it's been supported to pay for, or to give the first, did we already do the first case? I don't think we have. And we were talking about the extra $75 for the application fee. Brad said that's about a total of $530 allocated to 11 businesses at this time. Is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. All right, David, thank you for your work on that. We moved you up a little bit. We'll talk about it again here as we come down the agenda, but thank you for all your hard work on that. David has been just amazing. I want everybody to know that he stayed on this daily. I get an email from him each day regarding this, so he stays on top of it. And so, David, thank you for your great work on that. And I do believe this will be a very successful venture. So, thank you. All right, Brad. Those are expenditures now that you're going to see in your books, Brad. So.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
I'll put some stuff together about cash flow and everything for next month and everything. But obviously, you know, we've had a pretty decent chunk of money left at the end of last fiscal year, you know, that we had never really allocated for anything. And obviously we're into this fiscal year. And so we have, you know, a surplus this year as well. And these funds that we just approved will be much less than what that surplus is. So I'll get some nice charts for you guys next month. So
why we don't have a physical financial report, Brad has given us some information regarding his report, his finance report. So technically, he has presented it. So I'll entertain a motion to accept his finance.
So moved.
Been motion by Jerry. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Margaret. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same. All right, thank you. Jerry, anything going on with our seasonal decor?
Yes, I have a date and time when we will be putting up fall decorations, and all the help we can muster would be appreciated. September 27th, it's a Sunday at 10 a.m. Everything is going to be delivered quite early that morning to the front of the Croswell, and we'll be decorating the 4 entrance points as well as the 4 corners throughout the downtown. A little less on the decorating for fall this year, just because of the lack of crowds and big gatherings in the downtown area for the fall. So thought we would save a little resources in that regard. So, but please plan on the 27th of September. It would be awesome to see great support from the DDA that morning. We would love to see you.
And from the colleges, if they want to come, and anybody else who wants to help volunteer for the awesome.
I think we're going to be.
Sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
I just think we're going to be down a bit on college students because I think many of the college students are being asked to refrain from being in groups in the downtown area.
I see.
So we could really, that's why I think this group, we'd love to see you.
I get you.
I think that's a great point. And if there could even be shifts where smaller groups could gather throughout that day, like say, even if it were like 10 to 11, Adrian College, 11 to 12, Siena Heights, just a way to spread out the work, but still get as many people involved as we could safely.
Thank you, Michael. I'll definitely look into that.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Jerry, can I ask a quick question real quick? Will you guys need a street closure for that morning for decorating?
I think we probably will. So I can do that paperwork, Michelle, if that's helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. And then any updates on wayfinding signage or any of that at this point? I think we're still waiting to do some of the development on our logo and the like, right, Jerry?
Yes, correct. And I also, I don't have a report. I wasn't at the end of that meeting, but folks from this committee did meet with Vince, the police chief, about safety and security in the downtown area. I don't know if, Dusty, if you or Mark Murray would like to report on that at all?
Well, I think it was a great meeting with Vince. We discussed a number of things like cameras and other types of lighting, and really the SEPTED work that we were doing as well, about utilizing some of those reports and some of the outcomes of that to really justify some of the upgrades we're going to need from a safety standpoint in downtown Adrian. For those that came to the SEPTED, you'll remember that there was these areas that there were hot spots, if you will, where crime took place. And then there was the perception of where crime takes place. And so it's funny, down here at Broad and East Maumee was a hot spot. And I know that a lot of it had to do with where it was reported at the police station. However, there still is concern right there. And of course, it came up that the east side had more activity than most places throughout the area. But our focus was, is there reality of having cameras? Is there something that can be administered in that fashion? And so we continued on that discussion. Mark, do you remember more discussion about other items on that?
Mr. Chair, I think you did a nice job summarizing the one elephant in the living room, if you will, that every community in downtown struggles with is our homeless population continues to grow. And it's a very, very delicate conversation to have, but I'm bringing it up just because it is a real issue. And over time, I think we want to develop a proactive way to engage the rest of the community to do our best to support the homeless and to keep our downtown looking the way we want it to look and to have the impression that we want to have. So I'm just putting that on the table, that I think ignoring the problem is not what leaders do, and we need to continue to be aware that it is an issue. It comes up regularly, but nobody seems to want to talk about it publicly.
Jerry, any other things you can remember from that?
No, I know Diane, I forgot you were there as well. Anything? I didn't have anything else.
No, I think that pretty much summarizes what we were talking about. There, has been some crime, but I thought it was very helpful that Vince clarified that crimes that are reported at the police station show up on crime mapping as 100 block of East Maumee, which had been a big concern to me. So I feel a lot better now that when I look at crime mapping every day and I see where the crimes are, I don't feel like I should just shut my store and go. So I feel a lot better now.
And we should be getting our final recommendations from SEPTED and the final report between now and next meeting. And so I'll be delivering that to all of you, and you guys can review those recommendations. But it is important that we continue to focus on not only the safety of our downtown, but the perception of safety of our downtown. And so we'll continue to face those issues. All right, let's move forward. Mark Murray's big good news charging station update.
Yeah, Matt is completing the process. The project has been funded and he has a couple of permits that he's finishing up on, but as far as we can tell, the station should be installed momentarily, and Matt has been on it. The city's done a wonderful job following up and communicating with Consumers Energy and the various players involved, third-party station operators. And so we're on track to have that done here in the next period of time. Because of permitting, et cetera, we don't know exactly when it'll go in, but it's going in shortly. I want to thank the city, particularly for their support, and it's going to be a wonderful addition to the downtown as soon as it's in.
So we had the receipt came to me, and they must have just gave him my name. So not the receipt, the invoice. So I sent it to Matt and I said, "What is this?" He said, "Don't worry." So they have it covered. So just a little.
So I want to thank you, Dusty, for making the purchase on that. It's very nice of you to do that for us. I just wanted to give a quick update on Main Street, if I may, Mr. Chair. I'll make it very quick. We had the opportunity, Mary and I, to spend an hour or so with the Boyne City Director of Main Street, Kelsey. She's been involved with that position for 6 or 8 years. The Boyne City Main Street was one of the first ones to join the program, and Kelsey is on the committee that approves Main Street. So she was familiar with Dusty's previous approach to Main Street program. They're a very successful program. They are 70% funded by their TIF, and the balance comes from projects and sponsorships. They have 8 projects that they run. They have 4 committees. They have a close relationship with the city. The city pays a small portion of her salary for some economic development that happens in Boyne City itself. The other person we spoke with in Owasso We spoke with Josh. Josh has been there for 6-8 years. He the Main Street program in Owasso, which is a community about, just about Adrian's size, again, supported about 70% from TIF and then events, et cetera. Both of those programs run their farmers market program. And both of those sites, websites are well developed and have a lot of information that can help us cut to the chase in terms of getting our applications in. I was very, very impressed with how these organizations partnered with the city and other, the downtown and other economic development entities. We have a long way to go to make this happen. And I really saw how strong the partnership was between the city and the organization that is DDA Downtown. And I'm really excited about us moving ahead with that. Thank you.
Thank you for that research. I know that when Gary Cliff was on here, he has a place there. He used to always went up to Bowen City, and that's where he got excited about Main Street, I think, a long time back when we were the DDA, when he was on the DDA.
Yeah.
So, we still have that Katie that's up in Howell that we need to go talk to, but I think it was Diana that made a point to me that Howell's not as big or as exact apples to apples. So Owasso is more of a good replication. Bowen City has a little bit more money than us, but I think Owasso is probably the better apples to apples. So thank you for your continued interest in trying to learn about Main Street. Is there any update on the clock at Comstock Park, Mark? Anything happening there?
Nope. The clock is supposed to be installed in the spring. It's been funded and ordered, and so we're on track.
I'll take that off the agenda going forward. And then downtown Dries, I talked to Matt yesterday, and I talked to Jason when he was tearing down trees right in front of my office, which was awesome. He started to remove the pear trees. I wondered how they were going to pull those big trunks out of those little holes, but they do it with a backhoe, and it's amazing. I had to sit here and watch it. And so I think they've got 4 or 5 down, but their plan is to continue that process throughout the fall. I think I talked to Greg yesterday too, and he can confirm that Jason is trying to develop a formidable plan of what trees are going in where. And so hopefully we can get some sort of diagram from a top-down look to say, these are the type of maples that are going there, these are the type of trees that are going here, and that we can all look at it and give it our blessing, if you will. Not that we have the authority, but we really want to recommend this. So there were 38, 39 Bradford pears, and then they have some crab apples that need to be addressed, and there were some honey locusts I think they're going to stay in. And they also talked about some of those lilac trees in certain areas that maybe designate towards the alleys, so we sort of have a uniform look. So hopefully by next meeting we'll be able to present something to the board that shows what that's going to look like in the future. This is planning season too, so if they can get a couple into planning, but what I was hoping for at best was just the removal of the pear trees, and let's get ready for next spring planting. But if we can get some planted in the fall here, it'll be great. But we're moving forward on that. And if I say anything there, Greg, I think that's about what we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Okay, excellent. All right. Dan, I'll just give you an update on this. I was talking to Matt yesterday regarding the drinking fountain. I didn't get to you before the meeting, but the one that they put in over at the dog park costs $3,400, and it has an open drinking fountain for people, but also has the dog or animal feature at the bottom. Today, I don't think the open drinking fountain is probably where we want to go with that. So the next version up, and they have their own supplier on this, the city, but the next version up is a water bottle type situation. And then we need to find a place where we could access water effectively without too much cost of tearing up the ground and trying to find a spot for that. So I'm going to guess we're well over $4,000 to $5,000 to do one of those state-of-the-art ones in the downtown area. And so I still think we're at that level, maybe 4. So it's and because of what, having to get that bottle refill one, that's a little bit more expensive. That's the sort of the Cadillac version of today's drinking fountain.
Is there anybody who disagrees with us doing this? There's really been excuse me, minimal discussion on it, but I think it's something that we need to do for the downtown.
Diane, can we see if we can locate one other town like ours that has one and that's had it in for a year or two? I'll help look. I'd like to have some other community tell us the pluses and minuses of doing that.
Well, you know that there is one over at the trail on Ben Oak. Right there, there's one that that's in use and it's heavily used. Does that help at all to go take a look at that one, or do you just want to see what a city does with it?
I'm thinking more in the immediate downtown area. I think just to find one city that has one downtown doing what we want to do. I'll look around for it.
I'll look around too. But we're going to bring that back for discussion at the next meeting. And maybe by then we can have some other thoughts on it that we can talk about.
Excellent. All right, thank you, Diane.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to promotion and events committee. David, I know we talked about Dara. If there's any more comments on that, otherwise let them know what happened to Back to the Bricks.
I just encouraging anybody that knows some of the other businesses. What I'm having struggles with is two in particular. I've been having a hard time getting a hold of Eric at Chomp to finalize his paperwork. And then Erica at Hooligans, she has some discretions about some of the paperwork. So if anybody could reach out to them. Jerry, I did send you some information about the COVID compliance form. Have you had time to review that and send that out?
I haven't, Dave. I'm sorry, I've been out of town for a few days, so I will get to that today or tomorrow.
Okay, thank you so much. They meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's, like I said, it's just a single document. But if anybody can reach out to Eric and give him some words of encouragement, I'd really, those are pretty much the final ones. Everybody else has, been approved.
What is Erica's problem, David? So I'll go over and talk to her. I just need to know what the issue is.
It's more a political concern about our governor. So she just feels that, that it's giving the governor too much power, but it's just a simple compliance form that it's almost any business would fill it out. So I've reached out to her a couple times, but,
Is this something they don't agree with, or is this something that they just haven't had time to fill out?
No, Erica just doesn't agree with it at this time.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But Eric, I'm just having a hard time reaching out to. I've called him a couple times, sent him a couple texts and a couple emails, and I haven't gotten a response back from him. I know he's working at a couple other restaurants too, besides Chomp. So I know he sounds like he's pretty busy. But it's when we finally, I would just like all businesses to be participating as when we officially kick this off.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thanks to the city for all the work that they're doing on this too. Michelle and Greg and Matt and those guys. I really appreciate all the work.
Okay, but if I can help with that, let me know. I would be happy to try to make a run in on that as well.
Okay.
Right. If there's
Awesome.
something you think I could do with that, I've had some good luck with that in the past. So let me know if I can help. All right.
All right.
David,
Thank
would
you.
this hold us back from hosting Back to the Bricks, or you're just hoping for 100% support?
Oh, this has nothing to do with Back to the Bricks.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, that's okay. No, I just like to get all the businesses participating.
So is this Dara that we're talking about?
Yeah, Dara.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
still talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
This is still Dara. And a couple of things. We just need to figure out trash cans, and then obviously do some small signage for the downtown businesses, saying that they're DARA friendly, so just a couple little things that we need to tighten up, button up. But, my biggest thing is just getting the businesses, permits completed. Going back to the Bricks, thank you for the support last month. Unfortunately, Back to Bricks, the guys have reached out to us and told us that they had to cancel all their events in 2020 due to COVID, unfortunately. So all the host cities they had lined up for 2020, they are going to put them in for 2021 but they're going to reach out to us again for the 2022 season. So Tom will reach out to me then, and then we'll start the planning in regards to Back to the Bricks as well.
Excellent. Any questions for Dave? All right, excellent. I'm going to step back for just a moment before I go to Emily here. I'm going all the way back up the organization committee. I forgot to mention something. Meredith, congratulations, has found a home, and she'll be moving outside outside the downtown district. So I talked to Diane. We were working over those bylaws, and as we continue to work on those, there needs to be 7 members to have an interest in the downtown, be a business owner or work in the downtown area. And there needs to be 1 resident on the DDA board according to the requirements. So Brad, you're our new resident, and Meredith is now one of those that don't have an interest in the downtown, but she could stay. So.
Meredith, aren't you in charge of the apartment that Braceway has in the downtown?
That is actually not a bad point. I do sort of manage the Braceway apartment in the Strongback building, if that's helpful.
They'll maintain almost everybody has an interest in the downtown that's on the DDA. So we're well above our requirements from the bylaws. So sorry to regress for a moment, but I meant to mention that then. All right, Emily, how are things going?
Hi, good morning. I've been working with Haley Rising, who is the graphic designer that did the Dara logo for us. So normally we would have done a logo first and then kind of done the Dara logo would have been a sub-design of our logo. But since we, for time concerns, we're moving on the Dara logo, we are trying to make the new DDA logo similar to the Dara logo so that there's an obvious correlation so that people see the Dara logo and they also think of the DDA. I sent Dusty some of the logos that Haley had proposed. We wanted to incorporate some of the buildings downtown without anyone feeling like they were specifically left out. So it's just kind of an outline of some historic buildings. Some are specific, some are just kind of a reference to the downtown. And then you have the logos to pull up.
Right. I'm on my laptop again. I'm trying to find it real quick.
Okay. I did send Haley a few kind of inspirational designs, and she put, when the logos get brought up, there is on the right hand side, there is a Downtown Dixon logo, and that is kind of the one that we were trying to emulate. And then you're able to see on the left hand side, she came up with like, I want to say it was 8 different logo ideas. So kind of just looking for some feedback today about what you think. If there are any that stand out in a positive way, I'd love to hear your feedback on that. Once we decide on a logo, I'm able to do a lot more with
I got it.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have myself on mute when I do that. All right. Everybody see this?
Yes.
So what she was mentioning was they used the Downtown Dixon as inspiration for some of these visuals. I know that the first thing that I looked at was some of the buildings look a little strange compared to the drawing because they're just sort of cut out.
Yeah, that's not a final thing. These are just kind of in terms of layout and structure.
And then you notice how that was their historic district downtown. This is a DDA logo, so I just thought about that and how this needs to transform to a Main Street logo within 6 months.
Yeah.
Just wanted to show everybody some ideas that were coming by Haley. These are really good. The circle ones are good for like social media.
I really like the circles a lot, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Could the buildings, and Emily, I know you said these are kind of mock-ups and not final, but Would the buildings be actual like photographs like you have here, or like sketches, more like the Dixon logo?
More like the Dixon logo. They'd
Okay,
be-
I like the sketch looking.
Yeah, they'd be more of a graphic than an actual photo.
It'd be great if they were replicating our buildings downtown or something. Of
For
that.
sure.
Yeah, I think some of the buildings that we specifically talked about, again, we don't want anyone to feel like, well, why didn't they pick our building?
Right.
But we were trying to stick with some of the buildings that have been functioning historically for a long time. So specifically the Croswell, our library downtown, Chalmers, and I believe there was one more that was also discussed. But those were kind of the main ones that we were trying to emulate specifically.
Emily, are you thinking on number 4 and 5 of putting something similar to the downtown Dixon where, you know, it says shop, eat, play, or something along that line, like putting something in there as well?
Yep. So we talked about putting the established to kind of reference that we still are a historic downtown, but we are not, you know, just representing the history. We're representing also the progression. But we have talked about adding different taglines depending on what the use is for. So, for example, when we do the brochure, we talked about doing the tagline, I have it written down, sorry, enhance, preserve, and promote. And then if it was, for example, downtown on a banner, that it might say shopping, dining, entertainment.
Okay, good. That's why I wanted to know if you were going to include entertainment somewhere in there just because of our strong arts and, you know, with the Croswell. So, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yep. Thank you for your feedback.
Dusty, are we going to be letting go of the existing downtown Adrian logo? Is this a replacement for that, or is this in addition to that? And then secondly, I'd just like to suggest that all of us spend 5 or 8 minutes Googling Main Street and looking at logos that other communities are using to get a sense of what they're all doing.
I would agree with that. We should continue to look at the other ones and the like, but it will be a replacement of that logo that has the mask on it and the like, unless anybody objects. But I think we're starting fresh. And I even think we need to address our mission statement at some point that you see at the top of our, let me go back to it real quick.
That was also on my list. I would like to present a new mission and vision statement at the next meeting that will help me kind of formulate a communications plan to present so that we can get it voted on and implemented before the December deadline for the Main Street application.
I can say with certainty that this mission statement, I don't believe was ever a process by which the DDA went through to come up with this final statement, if you will. I believe that was created by the staff at that time. So I do think it should be a little more tailored to what we're focused on.
So then I can have ready a mission and vision statement for the next meeting to propose, and we can have some discussion about that. So it's a little more collaborative. And then I can really get started on presenting a rough draft of the communications plan in its entirety so that we can get it voted on. And then also part of the application is that it's implemented before December.
Can I ask a question, Emily?
Absolutely.
Are we dropping the historic downtown Adrian completely when we change over to the Main Street? Because I refer to that in everything, that all my marketing stuff is historic downtown Adrian. So are we have to, you know, be consistent, and if we're dropping it, I need to know that.
I think it won't be present in the logo, which it wasn't present in the last logo as well. But I definitely think it should be part of our mission and vision statement to preserve that history. So I just think when it's on the logo, sometimes it gets confusing. Like, are we a historical society for the downtown?
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, that's a great question.
All right.
I think it would make some sense to, instead of putting it all on Emily, to develop that and having the conversation with the whole group as part of this meeting, that maybe there would be a subcommittee to develop that mission and vision statement? And then
Yes.
that subcommittee could bring that to the DDA rather than all of us needing to chime in during a meeting that it has some time constraints.
I'd
Be
like
happy
to be
to
on
help
that
with that.
committee.
Otherwise, you'll have a mission statement that one person came up with again.
I would agree. I would agree.
I volunteer for that.
Mark,
I also volunteer.
Meredith,
As do I, this is Jerry.
Jerry. Anybody else? All right, you guys can have a meeting and start working on that, and I'll be glad to be on that as well. I'd like to help as well, Emily.
Okay, I'll reach out to you this week then.
All right, excellent.
Thank you. So moving from the logo then, were there any other comments or concerns about any of the logo designs?
Could those get emailed to all of us?
Absolutely.
Certainly.
Thank you.
So once we have a logo, I am ready to go with social media. I'm waiting. I'm chomping at the bit a little bit because I want to get enough content established that we kind of have a stream to present in December. So we have the Facebook page, but once the logo is approved on, we can really transform that page and kind of redesign it to align with our mission and vision and our whole communications plan. And then once we have a logo, I am very ready to start an Instagram page and get that rolling as well. I have lots of content lined up. I have a schedule already planned out through April. So I'm ready, just waiting on getting all of the final details with the logo, and then that will be in the communications plan when it's presented, hopefully by November.
So Emily, are you hoping to get the logo approved at our November meeting, before our November meeting? What's ideal for you?
I think ideally by October, because
I'm sorry, October. Yeah, that's next
Yeah.
month. I'm a month ahead of myself.
That's okay. Yeah, ideally by October.
All right, that committee has some work to do.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions for Emily on that? All right, I'm going to parlay right to Michelle on this because I was going to wait for public comment, but it fits right in well here. Michelle, you can take control of the screen right now and so to let everybody know what our new website's going to look like, City of Adrian, and how it may host the DDA's site for a period of time.
Hi. Yeah, I'm actually going to share my screen.
So I need to unshare, don't I?
Yep.
Stop share. There we go.
Okay. I get the right one here. Can everybody see that?
There it is.
Okay. So this is the new City of Adrian website. And I just wanted to show you guys, I've kind of carved out a spot for a downtown page, at least temporarily until you have your Main Street designation. I think at that time you'll probably have your own site, if I understand it correctly. But I wanted you to have a space to use in the meantime as you get going with your marketing. And Emily, I sent you an email yesterday about it, but I'll add you in as a user so you can make changes to that page.
Thank you.
I believe we're working on the domain names right now. So the domain name for the city page will stay the same. It'll be adriancity.com. And I believe the downtown page will just be adriancity.com/downtown. So it'll be relatively easy. And so as you can see, it's much more modern, hopefully easier to use and find things. And I'll just give you a real quick overview of some of the features.
Wow.
This will be our news and announcements area. Citizens will be able to sign up for updates and subscribe to pages. So for example, if someone wants a notification of every time a new agenda is posted, they can sign up for notifications for the agenda page of each board and commission, and then they'll get a notification when a new agenda is added. The DDA page, so the DDA board will have a separate page, and you can link to it through the downtown page if you'd like, but that board page will have an agenda module, which will actually look, it's hard to see with my screen share going on here. It will look like this. So they'll be able to pull up agendas, minutes, video if there is for each meeting.
Holy smokes.
And then this will be the link to the downtown page, and we can change this content. This is just here for now.
You
But
mean big leaf? You mean the big leaf there? Or is that what you mean? Or the
no, the text here.
Okay. Oh, I see the text. Okay.
Yep. And we can, I believe we can change this photo, and I mean, we can, so the leaf and all that is part of the design.
Okay.
But you know, if we need to make a change at some point, we can. But if you guys, you know, if you don't want to call it Historic Downtown Adrian, we can change that. We can change this blurb here. And then they'll just click this button and it'll take them to a downtown page. And so the page will look something similar to this. So it'll have these tiles, and we can put in photos and make them whatever we want. And that can lead to different areas of the page, whether it's events, businesses, things like that. And I wanted to show you, it'll cooperate here. So there's a business module that's built in that you can build out, and I can help if you want, but you can actually list all of the downtown businesses by category, which would be a nice way to kind of have them all listed there. And once that's in there, then obviously all you have to do is update as businesses come in and leave. And like I said, I know that you'll be moving to Main Street, but at least for the meantime, it'll be better than what we have now, which is next to nothing. So. And then this is the calendar.
When's this go live, Michelle?
The plan is to go live Monday the 14th. However, it takes 24 hours for our security certificates to be implemented. So I'll probably announce it as live on the 15th, just so we have that time to get our security certificates on and obviously work out any last minute bugs.
So can every business in downtown area participate in this?
I mean, you're talking about on the module?
Yes.
They could. It's just a matter of loading them all in. And like I said, once they're on there, then it's just, you know, taking one off and putting one on, just keeping up with it. But Emily and I will both have access to this. So Emily, if you want, I'd be happy to help load those in, since that'll be a task to get going. But
thank you.
You have to be careful, Michelle, on your information that you put on there, because Chalmers is not a restaurant. And
yeah, this is just an example. It's not I just loaded this in last night so you'd have one to look at.
All right.
This isn't live or anything. No one can see that right now.
Wow.
Why couldn't they scroll? So like every time you refresh it, automatically reloads a different one.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Is there a way to scroll those businesses at the bottom so you don't have to go in and change it manually every time you want to highlight a different one at the bottom? Is there a way to have them scroll so that every time you refresh or come back to the page, it shows a different one?
That I don't know. I only have one loaded in here right now, and I haven't messed with this portion of it yet. I'm not aware that it scrolls. I think they're just put in as categories. That'd be a design feature.
You talk about getting the downtown businesses, all the businesses excited about committing with the city. This is certainly a hand-holding process. Every one of them will want to be, I would think, in this. I mean, every activity would want to be a part of this, it would seem to me. You know, your banks, your insurance companies, your shops, everything would want to be in this list. This would be all inclusive. It would be wonderful.
These photos are changeable. I just threw a photo in real quick last night to have an example.
I appreciate that. I mean, I think it's a wonderful, it's a process. It's really a great opportunity.
We also have some, Visit Lenawee, our website also has something like this. So I think initially I might be able to help with some of the work up front in terms of just gathering content, because we just went through a web redesign too. So I might have a lot of things to add right off the bat.
Great.
No doubt. I bet you do. Like a little wealth of information.
Is there any questions about any of that?
No, it's beautiful.
Great.
So good, Michelle. Great work.
No kidding.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, Emily, you've got a lot to do before now in the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll be sending Michelle lots of emails.
Tell them you're up to it. We can tell. You're not going to shake her up.
Excellent. Michelle, thank you so much.
Yeah, Michelle. Wow.
We continue to progress, and I really appreciate the partnership with the city and great upgrade that we've talked about for a couple of years. So it's finally come to pass, and it's fantastic. All right. All right. Any other discussion on that? All right. As you could tell when we were discussing, the logo is a real big thing that we have to get done, as well as mission and vision statements. And that'll go a lot to creating the Main Street brochure before we go out and start to fundraise and get commitments for our downtown for Main Street. So that is in the works. As far as chair comments go, I appreciate everybody being here today. We have a lot of exciting activity, from the trees downtown to our lamppost. Talked to Matt yesterday. One of the discussions we had is the lamppost that was presented to us in our last meeting, which is right in front of you now, had a lot of bells and whistles, and each of you had a concern, or some of you had concerns that it's like buying the fancy Denali or something that has all the features, and then they start going wrong one by one and become maintenance issues. I do believe, and Greg was there when we were talking about it, that they're not going to go with this much bells and whistles. They'll still have a digital design displays on the outskirts, down on the entrance points, maybe in the four corners. But they're it'll still have this black wrought iron look to it, still have the LEDs, but we're trying to find one that can do speakers as well without the extreme cost, because there's this wireless app and telesystem is rather expensive when you start adding all these bells and whistles, I come to find out. And so right now, I think John is with us. He's going back to do some research on one that's very similar, but maybe not as costly. I still think it'll be high quality. John, any comments on that? Are you still with us?
Yes, sir. I'm here. I'm not personally going looking at it. We have engineers looking at it, but that's something that we're aware is a high priority, and we're looking into getting some speakers for you and what would be involved in doing that.
Awesome.
Can I just ask, the downtown decorating group is really concerned that these would be installed without power access? We've tried to light street lights, light the lamps or wreaths on the lamps or other kinds of things for a long time. I don't see that on there. Any update?
I had asked the question specifically, would there be outlets on each of these lights? And the answer is yes, there will be outlets.
Great.
Dusty?
Yes.
Did we find out about the power at the four corners? Like, is there a 30 amp power or 40 amp power on those lights at the corners, at the four corners?
Did not find that out. But
they're installing new white. I mean, that'll be all new electrical for those street lamps. So a good time to upgrade at the four corners and maybe even the entrance points as well.
So what we'll do is go back, and I know John has people looking at it. I'll stay in touch with Greg and Matt on this, and I should have a good report by next meeting about what the actual, hopefully, I'm not putting you under pressure, John, but 30 days.
We weren't looking up in the 30 amp. That would be a different kind of outlet. I'm familiar with, 30 amp service, 50 amp service for like RVs. Is that for like food trucks and such to plug in at the four corners?
Yeah, typically at Artelicious, we utilized the poles on South Main. Both of those poles on the South Main side had 30 amp service there, so we could hook up food trucks and primarily food trucks.
Okay, so the request is to look into having a 30 amp at a few of the poles at the four corners, correct? Or
yes, they're on the poles right now, just on the South Main side. But we just wanted to make sure that, we still had that service there so we can utilize for special events. And honestly, if we could get more, it'd be more the better, on all the poles so we can have a variety of things. for that power.
Gotcha. If you could put in an email exactly what you have and what the request is, that would be helpful for kind of communicating to
I
engineers.
definitely will. Let me get together with Don Taylor. He's our Artilicious chair, and we'll talk about that. And we'll get some information to you, John. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Put you on the spot. So
That's all right.
beyond that, I am excited that this group continues to move forward. We've added, Drake will be a great addition to the team. The team continues to strengthen. Neil, thank you for joining us too. I just think it's going to be forward progress and at high speeds as we move forward. I do think we're going to have an open slot, but as of now, we have to wait for those bylaws to be confirmed before we do that. So we'll be able to add another team member once that is complete. So I appreciate all of you, and we will continue to move forward. I will now move to public comment, and that's 3 minutes per person. Is there anybody that would like to speak to the?
Yeah, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Jim Van Dorn. I'll just give you a real quick update. I know you've had a long meeting on what happened on the Restart grant. It closed out. Most of the people in the city should have their money. Hopefully, if they haven't, and you hear about it, have them get a hold of me. But we had $4.5 million worth of applications. The city of Adrian was awarded 40% of those, or $311,000 in 45 awards. So we're quite pleased to be able to help those businesses out in the city, and hopefully it keeps them moving forward. So little update.
Thank you, Jim. Superb. Great work. Great work. Staying on top of those opportunities as they come about, because it seems to change daily. So thank you for staying on that. Any other public comments?
Chairman Steele?
Yes, Don.
Don Taylor here. Just a couple things. Number one, congratulations to Drake. He is an outstanding young man. I think he's a great addition to the DDA board.
Here, here.
Also, the new website for the city is great. Michelle, good work there. Dara, David, congratulations. Now we can walk around with a drink in our hand during our delicious and not keep it in our coffee cups. But I know, I hear what Diane says about retail, and I just want to, we have buildings downtown with retail operations in them, and we need to be sure we support retail as well as our restaurants. The Dara is a great idea. I'm also in favor of it. But we have to find more ways to help support our retail. They work hard, and it's a tough road for them to hoe right now. So thank you.
John? Any other public comment?
Hey, this is Drake Lally here. Just
Drake?
wanted to say I'm really excited to work with you all. And I know this isn't official yet until it reaches the final stage, but if there's anything that I can do to help in the meantime with any of this, I'm more than happy to get started.
Well, you work real close to Emily, don't you?
Yeah, technically our office used to be in the same building. We've had a little bit of a shift here, but yeah, I'm happy to do whatever I can.
All right, Drake, thank you. I'm just teasing. Any other public comments? Hearing none, I'll move on to other DDA business matters or anything else that DDA would like to bring up today.
I would. We have a ladies' night tomorrow night from 5 to 8 p.m. downtown, where the retail businesses are going to be open. And I'd like to invite everybody and their spouses and significant others to come down and support us.
As you
Tomorrow
know,
night, Diane, Wednesday the 10th.
Tomorrow is Thursday.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know what day or month it is anymore. Okay, thank you.
We love you, Meredith, anyway.
that makes a good point. Something I forgot to bring up, as you know, with the new Lenawee County outdoor restriction to 25 people or less, it really put the position of the First Friday Committee in a position where they could not move forward and endorse and support the First Friday events going forward until that restriction is removed. So as Michelle has said in her emails, don't hesitate to set a artist in front of your business and continue to work that way. Ladies' night is something else. It's not really endorsed by the First Friday Committee, or I'm sorry, support, that's a bad word, run by that committee. But it is something that can still be active right now because we're not forming large congregations of people. Michelle, you want to make any more comment on that?
Yeah, just I'll continue to, obviously we talk to the health department often, and I'll continue to monitor that situation. I'm obviously hoping that we can do First Fridays in October, but as far as I know, the order is going to stay in place at least for the next couple weeks, and I imagine it depends a lot on what happens with our numbers, especially at the colleges. The ladies' night event, although it's technically an event, it's not a gathering. You know, it's several businesses that are open at the same time, so I think we're fine with proceeding with that. I'm also being careful not to, so that event was promoted on Facebook, but I'm also being careful even with First Friday events. We haven't promoted them as much as we normally would, simply because the more people we get and the more attention we get, the more the health department is, you know, gets a little nervous about what we're doing. So this isn't a typical year, obviously, for anything we do, but I'll continue to push forward and do what we can.
Awesome.
And with what Michelle said too, the numbers of the colleges are trending downward drastically. So hopefully that order will change soon.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Just a couple of quick comments. One, in looking at these other Main Street programs, I'm really impressed with the tight relationships that they have with the city, with the chamber, and with the county economic development. And I'd like to encourage us to consider the possibility of inviting Lenawee Now. Jim Van Doren's been a regular member of this, attending this group, of perhaps having him have the same kind of involvement that Matt might have. And I think the tighter that we can bring the group together for economic development, I think we will all win. So I'd like us to think about that, not act on it at this time. The other item I just wanted to find out, Greg Elliott, are you still with us? Greg, are you here?
I am. Sorry, I was unmuting there.
Just wondering if you had any good news last night.
No good news last night. No.
Okay, fine. Thank you. That's all. I wanted to congratulate.
Last night, they voted unanimously to join the Kiwanis Regional Trail Authority, so it has come together. So exciting,
hey,
real big.
Congratulations.
I did not mean to exclude that good news.
Yeah, so, and I didn't hear from City of Tecumseh, but I'm sure it went through. So it is not a DDA matter, but I will have to say, in the spirit of collaboration, the City of Adrian, City of Tecumseh, Raisin Township, and Adrian Township, and our Kiwanis Club are joining together for a 5-member board of the Kiwanis Regional Trail Authority to focus in on our trail. It does have a little bit to do with downtown because the trail is downtown in different areas. But I was very excited last night, so that was nothing to do with DDA. So any other board member comments? All right, great meeting, guys. Thank you all. And we got work to do between now and October 14th, which is our next meeting, which is a day after my 55th birthday.
Woo! Happy birthday.
So I look forward to continuing to work with all you, and you guys have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.